In this video, I'll cover 10 things you absolutely need to know before you start an e-commerce brand. I run an e-commerce marketing agency and work with 7- and 8-figure e-commerce brands every single day, so I'm very familiar with the pains and challenges e-commerce founders go through. Here's the goal. By the end of this video, you'll feel more confident because you'll know exactly how to start and what to pay attention to. You'll have a much better foundation for a successful, profitable, and scalable e-commerce business. And you'll avoid the common pitfalls many first-time founders make. Make sure that you watch until the end because in the last bullet points, I'll cover the overarching e-commerce framework that will pull all of these small bits and pieces together into a bigger picture, giving you a clear roadmap and a peace of mind. Are you ready? Let's go. Opportunities are vast. Listen, it's true that the competition is higher right now than it was 2 or 6 years ago, but there's still so many opportunities out there. Just look at this graph. E-commerce is only going to grow, eventually taking over the traditional retail. In my opinion, the opportunity for new businesses is in the narrow niches. The modern consumer is looking for something that fits their specific lifestyle and values, which means there are lots of sub-niches in each category. For example, take breakfast foods. Before, your breakfast options, at least in America, were the big-name cereal boxes at the supermarket, eggs, and pancakes. Now, there are dozens of different granola brands that cater to segments from keto-obsessed fitness junkies to moms with allergic kids, plus new cereals for adults that are low carbs and high protein, overnight oats that you can subscribe to, and probably hundreds of other small e-commerce shops lucratively servicing this market. The point is, even though e-commerce is not the blue ocean it was a few years ago, there are still lots of opportunities out there, and the best place to look is in a narrow niche within a bigger market. Identify your target audience. Before you do anything else, decide who you're going to do it for. Who is your audience? If you don't have a very clear picture, or if you're trying to please everyone, you will end up reaching no one. That means wasted marketing dollars, so don't make this costly mistake. So to be effective in your marketing, clearly define your target audience by creating a customer profile. Besides identifying basic demographics like age, gender, location, and income level, you really need to have a good understanding of how these people are feeling and thinking. For example, you should have a good idea about your audience's values, places they like to hang out online, influencers they follow, and things that piss them off. It's normal for your audience definition to evolve as you grow your business, but it's always easier to start specific rather than broad. And the more defined and narrow your audience is, the easier it will be for you to target them and talk to them in a way that connects with their soul. I have a pro tip I want to share now, right after you subscribe and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Any minute now. Start as soon as you do that. Thank you so much. So the pro tip is to install website tracking through Google Analytics and Facebook Pixel as soon as you can. Even if you don't know how to do ads yet, having tracking set up from the start helps you begin building knowledge about your audience from day one. Your future self will thank you. Choose how you're going to sell. There are 2 different ways to sell online. You can sell via marketplaces or through your own online store. Each way has advantages and disadvantages, but the marketing and business approach would be very different for these 2, so you should carefully consider your options and pick one way to start. Here are the main pros and cons of marketplaces such as Amazon. The marketplace already has huge traffic, and they are spending massive resources to get people to the site over and over again. Of course, just because Amazon gets millions of visitors per month doesn't mean that your brand will. You will need to find ways to stand out on the platform, and Amazon has their own rules of the game that you will have to play. The disadvantage of selling on marketplaces is that you don't own your customers' data. You have very little visibility into who they are, where they came from, and how they found your brand. You also don't get their email address, which means you can't facilitate repeat orders. Additionally, the marketplace will take a cut of your sales and will always be the owner of the rules of the game. For example, they may create their own line of products in your category and start giving those products an unfair advantage, which is exactly what happened with Amazon. All of that is very different from owning your own online store. Your store, your rules, just the way I like it. You have full control over pricing, website design and layout, and how your products are presented. Additionally, you get a lot of shopper and customer data, so you can create a much better customer journey for them, both before and after they make a purchase. This results in a much faster customer feedback cycle, which means you can improve your products and your marketing faster and grow more rapidly. The cost of all of that freedom is that you'll need to figure out everything. From building that awesome website we just talked about, to getting a warehouse, to figuring out the logistics. The setup cost is definitely higher than if you were starting on marketplaces. You might ask, can I start on Amazon and then get my own website later? Yes, you can. But keep in mind that the marketing playbooks are very different for these two types of selling. You'll be learning a ton about how to succeed on Amazon, but don't think that you'll just be able to apply all of those learnings and get successful with your site in no time. Getting traffic to your website takes time and effort, and that effort is very different from how you get attention on Amazon. I know brands who started with their own website first, and then they moved to Amazon to diversify their platforms. I don't know of any success stories of brands who did it the other way around. Choose the right e-commerce platform. If you've decided to go with your own online store, congrats! All of the 7- and 8-figure brands that we work with run their own stores, and you will find lots of helpful resources for yourself on this YouTube channel, so make sure that you subscribe. Now you need to select a shopping platform for yourself. This is a very important decision because while you can switch the shopping platform later, it is very cumbersome, so it's best to pick the right one from the start. There are a few big players in the market, Shopify and WooCommerce being the top two. Generally, the difference between them is that WooCommerce is more customizable, which on the flip side means that you will need to do all of that customization yourself. Shopify is more restrictive, but on the flip side, that makes it easy to use because there are only so many things that you can customize, and also there's a huge marketplace of both design templates and apps that enhance your store. Shopify also tends to be more expensive. I recommend that you find Facebook groups or other communities of e-commerce store owners and read threads where they share experiences with different platforms. It's always most helpful to hear from people who've already gone through what you're about to do. Test your product. Before you invest tons of money into your inventory and marketing, make sure that you test your product. Create inexpensive experiments to test two things. First, whether people actually like your product, and two, whether they're willing to pay money online to buy it. The first test could be as simple as getting your friends and family to try your products. Ask them to be brutally honest and think of more open-ended questions than the simple, do you like it? For example, if it's a piece of clothing, you could ask, on a scale from 1 to 10, how comfortable is this? Would you wear it over your favorite hoodie? What specifically about this do you find comfortable? Then you need to test your marketing. What I would do is run a small-scale ad campaign and test different sets of copy and visuals. Maybe test different versions of your product page too, to see what resonates with people the most. You can do this before you even have inventory. Just make sure that you refund people immediately and follow up with a well-written email about how you're just starting the business and you're currently out of stock, but you will make sure to let them know once you have your products. Especially if you're bootstrapping your e-commerce business, always look for smaller scale, less expensive ways to test everything. Effective marketing is vital. Now we're getting into marketing. The essential thing to do at the beginning is to not to try to do everything. Otherwise, you will run into marketing hell. There's conversion rate optimization and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and Twitter, Reddit, Facebook groups, contests and sweepstakes, influencers, PR, email marketing, SMS marketing, giveaways, quizzes, podcast ads, affiliates. If you try to do too much, you will end up failing at everything. Instead, choose 3 to 4 marketing channels that you'll focus on and ignore everything else. Spend some time deciding what those channels should be and be strategic. For example, you may choose organic social media, Instagram and TikTok only, paid social, Instagram and Facebook ads, and paid search, Google ads, working with influencers and email marketing. Make sure that you have a way of measuring the success of each channel from day one, so you can make smart decisions about which channels to double down on and which ones to abandon. SEO is key. Technically, SEO can be considered another marketing strategy, but since you'll be creating copy for your website, there's almost no way around it. SEO is search engine optimization. It means making sure that the text and images on your website are optimized to rank on search engines, specifically Google. So as you write product descriptions and copy for your homepage, understand what kind of keywords you'd want to rank for. In other words, when do you want your website to show up in people's search results? When they search for what? Those are the keywords, and you'll want to make sure that you have those keywords in your copy. SEO is definitely its own art and science, so you might want to educate yourself on it. Don't overlook the value of email marketing. Email marketing is my favorite channel. The most important thing to do at the beginning is to make sure you simply have an email list and have a way to collect email addresses on your website. Make sure that you pick an email platform that was specifically designed for e-commerce brands, such as Drip or Klaviyo. MailChimp is also trying to play in this space, so if you're going for dirt cheap, go with MailChimp. But keep in mind that you'll very likely have to migrate once you start to scale your store. The next step is making sure that you're collecting email addresses from visitors. For that, build a pop-up and make it exit intent. That means that it pops up when a user is about to leave the website. Then build a welcome flow to make sure you're following up with subscribers in a timely manner. I have videos about both pop-ups and welcome series on this channel. I will leave the links in the video description. Networking is still important. As an independent business owner, you might feel like you're an island, but it's important to remember that there are millions of people chasing the same goal as you, and they're not just competitors. You can learn from them. Find a support network of founders who are going through similar experiences. It could be a Facebook group or an in-person community, a Slack community, or even just Twitter or LinkedIn friends. There are lots of people out there who are willing to help and support you. Lastly, it's important to remember that success takes time. It's unlikely that your e-commerce store will become an overnight sensation. Instead, it will take hard work, dedication, and no doubt a few tweaks to your website before you really perfect it. Just remember that no one wants to see you fail, and if you follow the steps outlined here, you'll have a solid foundation to build upon over time. And as I promised at the beginning of the video, here's a framework to think about your business as you're starting out. First, your product. Are you producing your own products or reselling private label ones? Next, your business model. Are you selling on Amazon and other marketplaces, or are you selling directly to consumer through your own website? Do you see yourself selling through traditional retailers too? Next, traffic. Where are your visitors going to come from? Have a solid plan for how you'll get traffic to your store. It's usually the first major roadblock to a new store success. Next, conversion. Once people come to your store, do they convert? The average conversion rate in e-commerce is around 3%, so strive for that or higher. Next, retention. At this point, people are steadily coming to your site and converting. What happens next? You need to have a good plan for how you'll get them to come back and repurchase from you, because repeat purchases are much more profitable for your business. This is where email marketing is by far the most effective channel. Lastly, scale. Now that your business is bringing in steady revenue, how do you take it to the next level? This usually means growing traffic, improving conversion, and improving retention. This means either growing your team or working with experienced and proven external agencies. If you want to become more versed in e-commerce metrics, I have a video about the top 8 metrics you should understand and track, with ideas for how to improve each of them. Don't miss this video, it should pop in the corner right now. And as always, if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe and like it. All of those things are really important. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.